everyone, it's Sheila back from my little bit of a break. I've had other things to do, you know, my life doesn't just turn around YouTube. I do have other things to do in my life now and again. And I'm just stopping now. I was just checking I've drunk all my tea. I have been out in my garden this morning. I can only do so much in my garden and then I have to sit down for at least a half an hour break. And I was out in the garden this morning, and because we are going to get rain, it's probably going to start tonight, all night, until about 8 o'clock, and then I think we're getting a little bit of rain after that tomorrow, and I'm also going to get rain Sunday, Monday. According to my phone, not so heavy, but it's supposed to be heavy during the night, so I wanted to get done what I could, especially cutting my grass because it needed cutting. It wasn't actually, it's hardly grown, just the spikes grown up, and it's like yellow, it's like dead. It needs some rain, the lawn. Mind the weeds that are on the lawn have grown great, no problem at all. They seem to survive no matter how much rain we get. If we didn't get any rain, they'd still survive. So it took me about 3/4 of an hour to do the back garden, to do the very large lawn and the smaller one up by the patio, and then another 15 minutes to do the medium-sized one in my front garden. And as it was about 12 o'clock by that time, because I had been pulling some weeds and that earlier, but I thought, you know, when I checked the weather thing and I saw that it was going to rain, I thought I'm going to get that grass cut. So by the time I finished cutting the grass, it was just after 12. So I thought I'm going to have half an hour sit down. I'm going to have my lunch, so I'm going to make it an hour. So that's what I did. I sat down, made myself a sandwich and a cup of tea, and sat down with my knitting after I'd finished my lunch, and that's what I've been doing. And it is now just after 1 o'clock. But I'm going to do this video, and I'll go out again in my garden after I've done the video, because there's an awful lot of weeds. My son is coming up to help me, but it's supposed to be tomorrow, but the garden's going to be soaking tomorrow. But it is a higher temperature. I think we're getting about 18 degrees tomorrow, so it might dry off a bit. But also my rhubarb needs pulling because there's an awful lot on, and I need to cut some of the seeds off, because there's one or two. I had cut all the the stalks off that were going to seed the last time I pulled the rhubarb, but I must have missed one or two because there's a couple that need cutting off. And to pull a lot of sticks of rhubarb off, so I'm probably going to go around my neighbours with some, because it's far too much for me. I could supply the local supermarket with rhubarb, the amount I have. But anyway, while I'm sitting doing the break, I had a little break this morning when I had done a little bit weeding, and I came in to sit down and do a little bit knitting, and I finished off the little hat. That was a little hat I was doing to go with this little cardigan. No, it's not a cardigan, it's a sweater. So I finished that little hat off, and that was the first time I've done a hat on these very small circular needles. Now I used 375 for the rib, and I used 450 for the rest of the hat, and I just done an ordinary rib, because the last time I did a hat in the round like this, it was on a smaller circular. This is the first time I've used these very small ones, and it was fine. I managed to do all the decreasing on the top until there was just a few left to pull the wool through. But I just an ordinary rib, as you can see, because I did twisted rib, and it just doesn't look right. And then someone told me that when you do twisted ribbon the round, you need to do it over 2 rows. You need to knit into the back of the knit stitch on 1 row, and the next row knit into the back of the purl stitch. And it's very awkward to knit into the back of purl stitches, so I thought I'm just doing an ordinary rib. So that's what I've done. So that's a little hat to go with that. And I will be putting that, I've decided, I have been checking on Ko-fi, and I'm going to put these things up, what I have left, because I have been selling some of the cardigans have gone, and some of the scarves, and I'm going to put what I've got left up onto Ko-fi, because I have put, I'll put that down out the way. This is my latest pattern, which is on sale now on Etsy. It's the paper pattern and the PDFs on Etsy, and just the paper pattern is on Ko-fi, because we've had all the problems sorted out with it. My people that were testing it have told me what faults, and it is sorted out now, so it's on sale. But when I put it up on Ko-fi, I never noticed before when I was putting, I've only got knitting patterns up on there, but when I was putting them up before, all the information, I never noticed, because I was worried putting like something to sell, like cardigan or something like that. And when I put the patterns up and I sell one, it wasn't deleted from the Ko-fi, and I was frightened if I put something up, like a cardigan, somebody bought it, it was still there, and before I could delete it, somebody else might have bought it, and I would have to give a refund, and thought out that. But when I was putting this knitting pattern up, I noticed something. I have to click whether you're just putting one thing up or a lot of things. So I know what to do on Ko-fi now. So because I will get more from Ko-fi for selling anything than I will on Etsy, because Etsy are robbers. They take as much as they can, and they add all these little extra things on Etsy, and they even charge you to show something, which I don't like. They charged you on eBay as well, but they didn't charge you until you actually sold something. But Etsy's not like that, so I'll probably be sorting them out sometime today, and I might put them up on Ko-fi tonight, what I have left. Mostly little sweaters and a couple of little cardigans I'll put up. But I have been knitting a lot of things, actually. This is one of my patterns that I'm doing. I have only done 2 sizes in it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going through my book. This is the same pattern as this one. This one is a 20-inch, which I had just enough of this lovely wool with the little spots in, the spots of colour, and I did different colour buttons, but I'm doing a different pattern on it. So this is the back from the same pattern for a 20-inch. And what I'm doing is I'm looking through my book for all the different patterns that I have that I just need to do 1 or 2 sizes for. Well, all I had done was a 16 and 18 inch in this one, so I started doing the 20-inch. I did the back, and then I thought, I think I'll do the back on the next size. I'll do the back of all the different sizes, all the different patterns that I just want 1 or 2 up, and then I'll start and do the one of the fronts on each one, and then a sleeve on each one, and that like that, and then it'll work through all the different patterns that I want different sizes for. So this is the 20-inch I've done in it, and I'm in the middle of the 22, which I'm doing in this. This is some of Poundland's mixy wool. As you can see, you can still see the line down the pattern. It's like a 4x1 rib, and it's going to have just a couple of cable down each of the fronts. I've done a couple of small ones on it and sold them a while ago. So that was that one. And while I was testing the faults that I found on that pattern, for to test them, I altered the pattern, and then I did, one of the faults was on the back, for the number of rows, including the cable and that. I only had 6 rows. But I think people worked it out for themselves because a lot of people haven't noticed. But if you knit the six rows and then went to the first row again, it would knock the pattern out. But I think people who are like me, they just go by what stitch you start the row with. So I think the new never notice. But for a new knitter who might go from the 6th row straight back to the first row, I had to add 2 more rows to make 8 rows. There's actually only 4 rows to the pattern, but because it's cable every 8th row, I had to do the 8th rows to include the cable. So those 2 extra rows makes it, for a new knitter going straight from row 8 back to the row 1, they're going to get it right. But I did put on the pattern that they only need to do the 4 sizes to the pattern. So I did the back to test it. This is to sell. I did the smallest size. It's a 6. No, it's not. It's an 18. I think I did an 18. Yes, I did an 18-inch for this one. I'll have to check my boot to make sure. So that was, I did the back of that one to sort the pattern out, to make sure that the fault that the lady told me about was right when I put it right. And then the same lady also told me about the fault on the sleeve, on the where you do the knit one purl one on one side, and after you do the cable, the knit one purl one on the other side, made the rib wrong. It carried on, instead of being a knit over a purl, it was a knit over a knit, so it made the rib longer on one side than the other side, which I knew about, but I just wondered whether anybody would notice it. But that lady, Val, call her, she did. So I did the sleeve to work that out as well. So that's how I have the back and the sleeve to my pattern that's on sale at the moment. And I've also done, if I can reach it off my table. Oh, I've knocked a ball of wool off there. I have just started, I'll pull the stitch out there. I'm making a notion pouch. That's how far I've got. I crochet that way, but I fold it that way so that the pattern runs down instead of across. And it's not quite wide enough yet. I think I need to do about another, with my tape measure. I do it till it measures about 7.5 inches and then put an edge around it. At 6 inches, so I've got another 1.5 inches to do on that, and then I'll put a lining in, the zip in the lining in, and that'll be an ocean pouch. So I'm doing a little bit of everything. Put that back, put the hook into the thing, and put that back over on my table. And then I'll put my knitting down as well. I have been doing a bit more. I forgot about this. I had been doing this actually last. Looked inside my bag and I found this. This is a lap blanket, what I'm doing. And that's how much I've gotten done of that. And it's quite, as you can see, it's quite thick, so it does crochet up. But I wished I sent away for the last time I done crocheted with this. It was a 10mm hook I used, and I thought I could do with a 12mm really for this, you know, because it's come out really thing. So I sent away for what I thought was a 12mm hook from Timu, I think it was, and it actually says 12mm. That was the hook I sent for, and if you can see it, actually says 12mm on there, but it is only a 10mm, because I have another 10. That was a 10 I was using before, and those 2 hooks are exactly the same size, which annoys me. If I want to get a 12mm, I'm going to have to order a 14 or a millimeter. I don't know whether they do a 14mm. I'll have to check what the next size comes up after 12mm, but I get the size I want. And that's something anyway. I did have a set. These ones are actually from sets. And I do have, I've told about this before, I have a 10. I hunt them out. Oh, I have 2 10s. That's another 10. When I find them. Should be the red one is an 8, I think. Yes. An 8mm. So I have a 10 and an 8, and I have a 9 somewhere that was in a set that I bought. Oh, there it is, the blue one. There were 3 I bought. That is that is an 8. That is the right size, the 8. The 9mm is also an 8. And the 10mm is also an 8. So I have 3. That says 8, 9 and 10, and they're all 8mm. Don't know whether you can tell just looking at them on there, but I've checked them on my... I have a little one of those gauge things, and that's where you check the larger hole. It doesn't go through a 10, that one. That's the 8, it goes through the 8. The 9, too small, goes through the 8. And the 10, far too small for the 10, too small for the 9, goes through the 8. So that really annoys me. You know, I would order some more, but am I going to get the same ones again? Because these weren't even from Temu. These were from, I'm not sure where it was I got them from, maybe in eBay or Amazon. I can't remember. I'd have to check through all my bills and things and find out where I got them from. But I never realised until after I'd had them quite a long time, because I was using the 10mm when I was doing bags, thinking I was doing 10mm. And then when I come to use the 8mm, I got some wool that wasn't quite as thick. So I used the 8mm, and it was leaving gaps. So I knew that there was something wrong. That was when I started testing them. So anyway, I ordered that one from Temu, the gold one, when I ordered some stuff as a 12, and that's a 10mm. It's so annoying, this, you know. I'll have to buy some ones with proper names. So anyway, that's how much I had got done of the lap blanket, and it does go quite a good way. Actually, I've got quite a lot of this. I may make one for myself for the winter, because it's lovely and warm when you're sitting there crocheting it and it's on your knee. When it starts getting larger, I think the last one, it was Angela bought the last one. I did another one like this one. So anyway, that's what I've been doing with that. And I did have a part of a lemon cardigan that I did, lemon and white. And I did a cardigan, and one of the fronts that I did was a different dye lot. It was a lot lighter, and I had done the whole front on it before I realised. So I saw it in daylight and saw that was a different shade of the lemon in it. And I had lots of different packs, and they all had the same dye number on, and I had to check all those wools and that to check which was the darker lemon and the lighter lemon, because I thought I'll keep that front I've done, but it was on a 24-inch cardigan, but I didn't have enough of the lighter colour, so I had to pull it out, which really annoyed me. But that was what I've done for that. And I am, wait till I get my other knitting out the bag here. Up to the armholes. I've been started shaping the armholes on this rosebud cardigan. I haven't done much on this the last few days. Haven't done a lot of knitting at all actually, like just bits and pieces what I've been doing there. There you can see I've been doing the armholes on there, so that back will soon be finished on there. And people keep messaging me and asking for the pattern for this, but I'm afraid I have not got the pattern for it yet. After this one, I have the instructions written down for a 34 and a 40-inch. This is a 36. When I finish this one, I will still have a 38 to do to write the instructions down. So everybody that keeps messaging me and asking for this pattern, I'm afraid you're going to have to wait. I cannot just write it out from my head. I have to knit it and write down what I'm doing as I'm knitting it. So I'll put that back in there. And this one here, oh, I'll have to lift the bag up for this one. For the, what does it say? This one here, I started this. It's that very small pom-pom yarn. I started this originally because I was going to do pillowcases for these pillows, but that lovely lady who pinched my name, Sheila, she sent these to me so I don't have to do these now. And as this is, I'm not sure how wide this is. I don't want to keep on doing it and just making it into a baby blanket. But it's only 21 inches. It might do a pram blanket, I think. Do 21 inches, and I think it'd be wide enough for a pram. So I may carry on. I was going to pull it out and start something with it again, but I may just carry on and make it into a pram blanket to sell on my shop. And I think that is all I've been knitting, and I need to get some more videos up, you know. I keep having a few days off, and every time I have a few days off, my revenue on YouTube goes down and down because everybody waits for my new video coming up, but then you get, you know, the new subscribers go through the other ones. We're still getting a little bit but I pay my month's rent and my month's council tax out of what I get from YouTube, and I think I'm going to be short this month. So I need to get a few more videos done, or sell a few more of my things I've been doing because of what I do on YouTube. I no longer get any help with my rent or council tax, heating allowance, television license and all those things anymore. So that's my bit for today. So I am going to pop out in my garden again and pull a few more weeds before the rain starts. I know we've been wanting rain, we need it for the grass and that, but I hate it when it does rain. Oh, and also I was at my bingo last night and I forgot to take my crochet with me. So I had to play that stupid word game on my phone with my friend, and I think even she's getting sick of that word game. So I'll have to I think I'm going to have to put a hook and some wool and that in my car and just leave it in there all the time so I don't forget to take something with me next time. Because that's what I usually take. I usually take some crochet and hook and that with me. But I'll put maybe 1 or 2 balls of wool in the car. There'll always be something there if I forget. Because I put it on the table next to my bag. I had a little bag and I put the like the little thing like this in with the wool in and the hook and everything, and never picked it up when I went out the house. And we were early last night because me and my friend went for a meal first. And usually we have quite a wait because there's usually a lot of people in the, it's a pub restaurant type place we go to called the Percy. There's usually a lot of other people in, and we'll have to wait until our turn for the meal and that, but they were very quick, so we were out a lot earlier than what I normally am, and I had to message Molly earlier and tell her I'd be picking her up earlier. So we were in the club earlier, and I could have got a lot of crochet done last night, but I forgot to take it with me, didn't I? But anyway, that's it. Thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you all another time. So bye for now.